So hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast Ask Boneteacher, where I answer your formal questions in an informal way. So today in this podcast we have a guest. Her name is that.aspiring.orthopod. She's a follower of my Instagram handle. I would like to call her my turtle, and she has influenced a lot of people with her posts on Instagram. You can just go and read a few inspirational posts there. She also has documented a lot of techniques of studying as well as revision, and she has been enormous help to the community, and I thought more of you get benefit out of this. Welcome.
Hi sir, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good sir, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being a part of this.
I'm thrilled to be a part of this sir. I should be thanking you.
You're more than welcome. So we conducted a poll where we asked the followers of my handle to nominate a few people who they would want to hear from, and a lot of people nominated your name, and that is why you're here to spread your word to all of them now, and in fact more of them who have probably not heard of you before.
Thank you so much sir. I really didn't expect this to be blown up this way.
It's good. So let's just have fun here. Let's keep it very simple, and let's not worry about perfecting this podcast. Let's just talk about the things that we have to, so that people who listen to us benefit in some way. So it should be a little value to them, and I'm sure you can add that to their lives.
Okay sir.
So let's just start with your name, that aspiring orthopod. What is the story behind the name?
Why that aspiring orthopod? I'm interested in orthopedic surgery, and I wanted to start an anonymous account because until I get the seat, I didn't want to bring my personal agenda into it. So it was basically something to motivate me, so that I put a post every morning about my schedule, and I can be accountable for it by putting my update in the night. So whether I had followers or not, I wanted to continue doing that every single day, so that I know I'm moving forward in my progress. Preparation.
How's that helped you?
It's really helped me. I've not missed a single day since I started.
So you post every day?
Yes, sir.
That's really nice. Being consistent. So for everyone who's listening to this, the most important thing in life to achieve success or anything that you want is being consistent. And she is definitely a proof of that pudding. She is consistent. She has been posting every day, and that's how we have noticed that. Now, with that said, I would just want to know why and how you started following me on Instagram or YouTube or wherever.
Okay, I've been following you since the time you started a YouTube channel, sir. So over a year back from the time, initially your channel had just ortho cases where you're taking up some topic and you'll explain it.
Yes.
And so for my pure interest in ortho, I found you and I'm like, oh, he teaches it so well. So I kept following you. And then you started talking about PG aspirants and the troubles they're facing, and it just made me connect with you further and further.
Oh, that's so nice. And has it helped you?
Oh, tremendously. I think I realized the lacunae in my preparation with some of your videos. They were game changers.
Thank you very much, and I hope everyone who's listening to this can find some value out of those videos we make, because it takes enormous time and effort to actually put it out there for all of you. So that's enough of me.
The effort shows, sir.
That's absolutely enough of me. I think we should move on to the star of the podcast today. That's you yourself. Can you tell me what kind of value do you think you can bring to the community with this platform that we have offered you today?
I want to emphasize on revision. So I feel it should start immediately after finishing the first subject. You don't wait to complete all 19 subjects. In fact, it should start after each chapter.
So hold on. So you're saying that you don't want to finish the whole first reading and then start the revision?
No.
Exactly. See, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, and that's what everyone should hear. Revision doesn't have to, start after finishing everything. It can happen after reading one topic or one chapter or one subject also. So just go ahead and please explain it better.
Okay, so after you complete a chapter, just take a few minutes, go back and do a fast review before you move on to the next. It's going to be boring and it's going to be very monotonous, but the devil is in the details. So doing this small thing helps consolidate what you just read.
So basically you're saying that suppose I finish reading one topic, say bone tumors, and then I move on to nerve injuries, and then I move on to upper limb fractures. Can you just give me a perspective or idea of how do you want me to start the revision and how do you want me to go about it?
Okay, let's say I start bone tumors today, and let's say it takes me 2 hours maybe. So once I finish bone tumors, I'll not move to nerve injuries. I'd go back to bone tumors. You don't have to go and read the entire subject again. Don't need to go from every word and letter. You know the topic. So as soon as you see osteosarcoma, you know the important points. So go through it again and keep moving. So this fast review is fast review. It has to be happening in a matter of few minutes. And then you go to the next chapter.
All right. So basically at the end of each chapter, you would want to take some time out, summarize the chapter, review the chapter, what you have read, and then move on to the next chapter.
Yes, sir. And in fact, if we go back and see Sir's videos, even though it's a 6-minute videos, the last 2 minutes is Sir summarizing what he just spoke.
Yeah, so I do that. I mean, thank you for pointing that out. I do that because I feel even if I speak for 10 minutes or 15 minutes on one topic, at the end of the day, people would want to summarize the key points. And that's what you're exactly doing right here, right? You are reading something, and at the end of that reading, you're summarizing those key points to keep in mind, and then moving on to the next chapter.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. So revision is not a one-time thing. Keep a fixed schedule. So Abbas sir has this wonderful 1-2-1-2-1 method, which is after you finish the first read, you revise 1 day, then 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and then 1 month after the first read. I've seen another study grammar use the rabies vaccine schedule as a revision plan. So she does 0-3-7-21, first reading immediately on the same day, then 3rd day, 7th day, and then 21 days.
Okay, so don't you think it's a little tedious to do this and to chart out the revision in such an articulate manner? Sometimes what happens is we read a topic which is relatively easy, and we wouldn't want to keep reviewing it again the next day and a week after that. How do you go about reading such simple or easy topics and subjects?
So this is not fixed in stone. So you fine-tune the dates according to your preparation level. There are some subjects which I find easy and some which are really hard. Pharma and biochem for me is quite hard. So I need to revise that more often to remember what I just read. So I follow the 1-2-1-2 method for hard subjects and the rabies schedule for easy and small subjects.
Okay, so basically you fine-tune it to yourself.
Yes.
So there is no...
These dates are not fixed.
Yes. So when do you think, what makes you decide whether this topic or subject is hard or this topic is relatively easy?
This also is quite subjective. So like I've seen people who find surgery and ortho hard, which is baffling to me. But for me, biochem and pharma is really hard. So I see people who are so good in pharma, they'll remember something which they read 2 months back, which I can't. I could have read something day before yesterday and I'll forget in pharma. So I need to do it again and again.
Biochem, so for you, it is different.
Yes.
Obviously, it is different for everyone, but is there a way that you can gauge that you're weak in a certain subject? Is it by the scores or is it by actually recalling what you read?
Yeah, when you're giving a grand test, you'll definitely know which is the lowest scoring subjects are your tough ones. But that can happen when you don't revise properly also. So for me, personally, I know these things are hard because my capacity to remember them is not good. So that's how I know it's bad for me.
Don't worry about it. Pharmacology and biochemistry was extremely hard for me as well. No,
I'm glad it's hard for another orthopedic surgeon too.
I think it's universal. People who pick up orthopedics or any surgical branch would find these subjects hard. Now, I just want to ask you, why are you so much, why are you emphasizing on revision so much? Why is it so important? Why is it so important that we start revising from day one, and why not wait till we finish the first reading, the popular belief?
Okay, so this is actually from personal experience. I learned this the hard way. So last year I completed all the subjects, but I pushed my GTs to the last few months. So ultimately, I didn't know whether to review GT mistakes or revise the notes which I've spent so much time reading, and both are equally important. And nothing hurts like the searing pain of wasted purpose, because you have been studying, you have been sacrificing, but you haven't used it effectively.
So all that you have read felt wasted. That's what you're trying to say. Only because you couldn't revise.
Yes.
So all the hard work and
now that I've started preparation again and I'm reading these notes, there are parts of it which is new to me because it's been so long since I read it. So I don't count this as a second read. These are my first read again because there's a gap.
So basically, you would actually label your reason for not getting the rank or the seat that you wanted only lack of revision.
Yes, sir.
So that is when you realize it is probably the most important thing, even more than reading anything new.
Yeah, definitely. Because for me, GT review mistakes were new because some of those topics are off notes. They are not what they've been taught in class. They are new. But I know that other people are giving these exams and it's important. So there's a greed to read that too.
Yeah.
But it's very important to finish notes. So there's a confusion and which was a blunder.
So that you have learned from your mistakes that happened last year, which was very unfortunate. What are you doing differently this year? Why is your preparation this time around different from last year?
So revision this time started with the first subject itself. I started in Feb end and I've put up a progress schedule on my wall, which is like an Excel sheet. So I've written down the list of 19 subjects in the first column. Then against it is notes, CT, subject-wise test, the last 3 years question papers, question banks, and then a series of columns, which is for revision. The series is because there's no fixed number of revisions. The more number of revisions you get in, the better.
Okay, so made up this chart. It's like an Excel sheet which has columns and rows, and in the column you have written the names of the subjects, and then you have written notes, subject specific tests, question bank, and last year papers, and then revisions. So how do you use this table? How does it help you? So
now let's say I started with derma this year. So let's say I finished derma once, and I don't immediately give the class test. I revise once again. Only then do I attempt the class test. After that, I will do the question banks go simultaneously with the notes. So as you finish the chapter, go and give the question bank so that you feel like it's done, it's consolidated. And then after the 21st day revision or the 1 month later revision, that's when I give the subject-wise test.
All right. So what you do is you read the notes, and following the notes, you answer or try to answer the questions from the Q bank. And the reason you do this is because you want to know the points which are very important in the notes, which you would have, missed easily. And Q bank re-emphasizes the important points. And once you have done that, that is a complete reading.
Yeah.
Right. And once that is a complete reading, then you go and schedule your revisions, say 1 month later or based on whatever schedule you're following. And in the first revision or after the first revision, when do you do the subject test?
The subject-wise test is usually after a month. So sometimes when I'm putting these dates, obviously changes with the coming timetable. But I see to that I don't give a gap of more than a month.
All right. Subject-wise test within a month of your first reading.
Yeah.
But not before that, because if it is before that, you are probably getting a false positive.
Yes, sir. And since it's fresh in your memory, you tend to, you don't exactly know how much you're recalling. Yeah.
And then what do you do with this chart? Say, once you have read, say, dermatology for the first time, you have done the Q bank, you have solved the subject-wise test, and you have revised it after 1 month. So do you keep marking this? What do you do with this chart?
I keep ticking the progress. So now let's say I finish 4 or 5 subjects. The initial 4 columns will be ticked, but the number of revisions depends on the amount of time I have. And depending on that, I keep ticking. So now you can color it, highlight it, do whatever you want to customize it and look pretty. But the whole point of this is to have a visual representation of your progress. On some days, it gives me confidence. On some days, it really makes me want to push myself more because I'm not seeing more ticks on it.
So how do you think this graphic representation, this coloring of the chart which is in front of you on your study table, how does it help? I mean, why is it important that we put all these things on a piece of paper and represent it graphically? Why is it important?
Well, sir, to quote you, your subconscious mind needs to be coerced into believing that you're moving forward. And this visual reinforcement is very important to become confident and enthusiastic about your preparation, because you tend to be bored. You tend to be like, okay, I've done this, but I don't remember it. But seeing it makes it like your mind keeps telling you like, okay, this much is done. I've done this much. Now I can keep moving forward.
So it's basically putting your achievements on a piece of paper in front of you. You look at it and you feel happy that you have conquered it. So it's like coloring the whole white wall, and then slowly as your coloring progresses, you can see the whole white wall changing into something blue or green or whatever color that you have chosen, and you see that it is getting complete. It's like a loading bar or a download bar, right?
Yes.
So it actually gives a lot of positive reinforcement and makes you feel that you're getting near to your target, and makes you happy.
Yes, sir. In fact, my feeling has changed. Like last year, I used to be like, oh my God, there's so less days. Now I'm like, okay, I'm doing this is going to come to, I'm almost there. Like this is doable. I'm going to achieve this time.
Right. So this graphical representation is basically giving you the exact picture of how many days you have left and how many days you have utilized. So there is no possibility of error or thinking or maybe. It's all right in front of you. So that is the very important thing that I want all of you to understand. Putting it on a piece of paper in front of you is of immense importance. Otherwise, what happens is, if you write it on a piece of paper and keep it in your pocket, or if it's in your mobile phone as a task sheet, it stays there. You can't see it every day. The moment you get up in the morning, if you look at something that is progressing, it is so beautiful. You're seeing that you're reaching towards your goal step by step every day. And it is in itself a very a motivational tool.
Yes, sir.
I'm so
in fact,
happy.
when I listen to topper videos and I hear people, when I hear them say, oh, I've done 4-5 revisions, it used to baffle me. I'm like, I couldn't finish the entire subject, like all the topics once. How are these people, revising this so many times? And now when I see this chart and I'm like, okay, I've actually revised derma 3 times. So it's possible. So by the time I come to August, I should have finished all the subjects, but the subjects which I have done, I've been revising them. It's not like I've left it. Like in August, I won't be like, oh, I did derma in Feb, I don't remember.
So that is why by the time you finish your preparation, you would already have revised, say, 4, 5 or 6 times, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
So I think that is enough of your study tip for everyone. I just want to know what actually, ticks you, what inspires you to do what you do, and what do you want to become in the future. And so is there any inspirational story that you would want to share with everyone that inspires you each and every day of your life?
Yes, I really want to. Also, apart from the messages I get on the page about studies or something, I usually put a quote or something which is positive below it. And many of the people's messages is, oh, this is so inspiring, or, this made my day, or this is so sweet. And when such a negative space going around, and since you're monotonous and you're alone in a room, the empty mind is a devil's workshop. So I like seeing positive quotes. It really helps me change my mood and immediately go back to studying. So this is a small story that I wanted to share with everybody. So when Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was asked what he considered was his greatest achievement, he spoke about this incident which happened during his visit to a hospital in Hyderabad. So he saw polio-affected children struggling to walk with a 3 kg prosthetic limb. So he got in touch with his friends back in ISRO, and they used composite material used in Agni missile heat shields to fabricate flow reaction orthoses. So this ultimately weighed just 300 grams, which was 1/10 the original weight.
Amazing.
So after fitting the new prosthetic limbs, he saw them walking, running, and few children even using the bicycle.
Wow.
And he turned around to see the parents, and they were overjoyed, and some of them, with teary-eyed, they looked at him. And he chose this incident. I remember my mother telling me as a small child how at this time he was already the former president of India, an aerospace engineer. He was the admin of DRDO and ISRO, and he even won the Bharat Ratna. But he chose this incident.
This incident for
child,
what? Why did he choose this incident to say something?
He chose this incident as the most greatest achievement in his life.
All right. So when people asked him what is his greatest achievement, he said this was his greatest achievement.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, he's more than that. He's absolutely more than that.
Yeah. And as a child, when my mom pointed this out, this molds your outlook towards life. And then years later, now during my PG prep days, when I was watching one of your videos last year, you spoke about a struggling student, and the same words reverberated. Passion should fuel you. Degree and positions are just means to achieve what you're passionate about. And you spoke about how this is not a life and death thing. This is something that you get so that you can finally do what you wanted to do anyway. And
I talked about the means. I talked about the means to reach to your goals. Your goals is being a good doctor and helping a lot of people and making a difference. And this PG and this preparation and these exams, these are the means to get there. And that's what I wanted to say then.
And also, Abdul Kalam was a fisherman's son. He could have easily said that he wanted to be the day he became an aerospace engineer or the president or any other great things that he's achieved. But he chose this, and that just shows how passionate he was about this.
No, but he was a genius. He was a scientist. He was a revolutionary thinker and a worker. But do you really think you have to be absolutely a smart aleck or a genius to achieve success in life? Or can average people also do that?
Well, actually, there's a really fun fact about Abdul Kalam. When he used to study in school, he used to get very average grades. But every teacher described him as very hardworking and always had a strong desire to learn. And I think therein lies the difference. everyone has the same amount of intellectual capacity. No one is smarter than the other, no one's dumber than the other. What we need to do is that hard work. He never gave up. Being a fisherman's son, at any point of time, he could have used all those excuses that he could, all valid, but he didn't. So I think the magic is the hard work and desire to learn, which is totally in our hands.
That's a wonderful way to conclude your talk. I mean, I'm so happy that you said that, because I wanted to add a few points here. The first thing is that a lot of students think they don't have the capacity or the intelligence to achieve success in life or to get good ranks or good grades, but they fail to understand that they've already gotten into medicine, and once they've gotten into medicine, it's already evidence enough that they are intelligent, they are bright, they have the decent amount of IQ required to understand these things, and now all of them are on the equal playing field. It's just that the amount of hard work and perseverance they put in, and more important than that is their desire to learn, the curiosity to know more about medicine, about how they can help the patient. And once that comes into their genes, into their DNA, everything for them would become an interesting conversation. Everything would become a story to learn. It's not like you want to learn things to pass an exam. You don't want to learn things to score good marks. You want to learn things because you can help people more. And once that metamorphosis of thought process happens, everything becomes easy and fun. And I think that is what has happened with Dr. APJ Abul Kalam, and hopefully will happen with all the listeners listening to our podcast today. And I wish you all the success in life. And
thank you so much, sir.
Is there anything you want to say towards the end of our conversation?
I'd like to sign off with Abdul Kalam's quote itself.
Okay.
If you want to shine like the sun, first burn like the sun.
That's a wonderful quote, and it has a lot of depth in its meanings, and I'm so happy that you are a part of this conversation. And
I'm so glad I got this opportunity to talk with you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I hope all of you listeners have found some value in this podcast. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do comment your questions, and if you want more shows like this, do tell who you want to listen from. With that said, guys, I will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.